Hello, YouTube. It's been a minute. It's great to be up here again. I don't get here very often. I spend a lot of time writing the blog and working on the blog, so I don't record as many videos as I'd like. Sorry about that, but I had to record one today because I am really excited to announce a new tool that allows you to run your Python code online. It actually works pretty well, given that it only took me a couple of days to install it, get it ready for you. Now I want to showcase that, and what I want to do is go over where it is, obviously, how to get there. I want to talk a little bit about what it is and what it's based on and what some of the limitations are, what some of the advantages and the disadvantages are. And that brings us to the why, right? Because I do think it has a lot to offer and a lot of advantages. And we'll talk a little bit about the disadvantages as well. And then the really good news here, this is going to be the last slide. At this point, we're going to go straight into the demo. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to codesolid.com. There are different ways to get to where we want to go, and I will post some of those in the description. But the easiest way is just to remember, go to codesolid.com and then look for this link over here that says Online Python. And then just go ahead and click on that link. And that's going to drop you into a tool that will allow you to run your Python code online. Now, there is no registration required. You don't have to send me your email. You don't have to join a political party. You don't have to give me your credit card data. I don't need any of your information. Nothing to do. There is one thing, depending on what browser you're running, you may be asked to install the app. Now, you're not really installing anything, you're actually enabling WebAssembly, and that you may not even see the message. The way it works is, my wife saw the message, I didn't see the message. So it kind of depends on whether your browser is configured that way or not, exactly what your browser configuration is, maybe what version of the browser you're running, and what flavor, whether you're running Chrome or Internet Edge or whatever. So when you get here, as soon as you're in, and as soon as you've clicked past that install message, you're going to be able to start typing your Python code right here. So you can do, well, whatever you can, a lot of whatever you can do in Python, you can do right here. So for example, I don't know, we can just do really simple stuff. We can do addition. We can use Python lists, Python dictionaries. Let's do something a little bit fancier. Let's just do a little list comprehension. We'll say that the list is equal to x for x in range 0 to 10. That'll give us the first 10 numbers starting at 0. We should end up at 9. And then we need to just say L and we'll see it. And there you go, 0 through 9. Bing, bang, boing. So this is very fun. What you also have available to you in this environment is if you don't have, if this is the first time you've seen an environment like this is Jupyter Lab, essentially. Actually, what it is Jupyter Lite. Jupyter Lab looks very much like this, but you have to install Python, you have to know how to install Jupyter Lab, and you have to get it up and running. Here, you just open your browser, you're pointed at the right place, and you're there, right? So this is a tool called Jupyter Lite, and it's actually developed by the core Jupyter developers, the same guys who work on the core tools. It's just not an official project as of yet. So it's still got maybe some rough edges. And so a couple of things you have here. You have a link to, let's say you don't know where to get started with Python. You don't know what you're going to do in here. This is Greek to you, let's say. We have links to our tutorials. This will bring you over to the Learn Python page. And you have links to all the different tutorials, programming for beginners. You have Python beginner tutorials and exercises. And then you have some that are a little bit more advanced, right? You also have some cat ads. So if you have a cat, you're good to go. So you've got tutorials here. If we go back to the environment, you also got a getting started guide, right? So if you're new to Jupyter, if you kind of don't know how the Jupyter environment works, this is getting started with Jupyter. And the guide here is really worth looking at for another reason, because it kind of tells you what's available, right? So by default, you have pandas, you have matplotlib. So here we're setting up a little bit of data, and we're going to go ahead and show the data frame in pandas, and then we are going to plot the data. So we're plotting the height in inches of 4 imaginary people that we have in this pandas data frame. Because we have pandas, you probably already know that NumPy is available, so we can multiply a couple of matrices together and do fun linear algebra sorts of things like that. There is not a lot of flexibility. You can't install packages because this is just running in your browser, right? But having said that, there are a lot of things that will be available to you here. So basically, the Getting Started Guide kind of gives you an idea of some of the things you can take a look at. There's also a link here to a more complete Jupyter Notebook tutorial if that's of interest to you. One of the things that really impressed me about this tool, and this is, I think, a really nice advantage to it, is that it's actually pretty fast. I don't know if you noticed, but if you've looked at this, we've actually run this code relatively quickly. I mean, that just came right back and showed the redisplayed the data frame. This showed the plot relatively quickly. Now, in contrast, if you go over to a much older and in some ways, certainly more popular tool, W3 Schools, if you look at their Python tutorials, which are great, by the way, there's nothing wrong with the tutorials themselves. But if you go, let's just say we go over to, Python dictionaries, right? And we pick this guy, or let's see, OneNote says, try it yourself. So we're going to create a dictionary and we're going to print it, right? And we're going to do that on W3 Schools. Let's go click on try it yourself. Now, when you run this, you'll see that there's a bit of a lag here while we wait for probably a call back to the server, and then the server has to send some information back. Now let's go grab this same thing. Now remember that delay, right? There's the delay. We've got a little circle going. Whee! Circle. Okay, our Python code is done running at this point. Let's go back here and try it. Let's go grab this code, and let's go paste it right over here. And let's see how fast we can run this. Oops, we're all done. Sorry. You want to see it again? Here we go. Slow motion. Boom. Done. So it's a heck of fast. It's running locally, so you can kind of imagine that makes sense. This is actually based on WebAssembly in your browser, and that is why you may get an install message depending on how your browser is configured. So advantages: it's very fast. It has the familiar Jupyter interface, and your work, unlike some other tools that you'll run online, your work actually is saved here, but it's saved in your local browser storage. Actually, it's probably saved in a database, a browser database called IndexedDB, unless you have an older browser. It'll try to pick a smart default in any case, so you won't see the files. What that means is if you save your work here, let's say I wanted to try to save this now. So I'm going to do a file, and I'm going to just explicitly save it just to make sure that it's saved, right? You will not see this in your file system. But you can, if you want, you can go over here and you can click File, and then you just click Download. And look at that, it's downloaded. So you can download files fine. One of the interesting things I noticed, though, is that you can't really run files if you upload them. You can, in fact, upload them, but then you have to copy and paste the cells into a new notebook that you create online. And I'm not sure why that is. It may be related to security restrictions in the browser, but I don't think that's too much of a hurdle, since if you already have a local Jupyter Lab environment, maybe you don't need an online environment to run it in anyway. So thanks for watching. I hope you find this tool useful. Once again, the URL is codesolid.com. I hope you find the tutorials useful and that you're able to put them together. In the future, I may be integrating more tutorials directly into the tool itself. In fact, I think that would be an awesome addition and make things a lot easier for folks. And maybe we'll just have an index there where you can get at all the tutorials from one place and make it real simple to use. But meantime, it is fast, it's easy, there's no registration. I appreciate you taking the time to check out this video. Please give it a like and share it if you'd like. And go ahead and visit and start running some Python code. It's a great language, and if you haven't started playing with it and you just want to poke around, kick the tires, this is a nice, fast environment for you to do it. Thanks again.